Because I was basically doing the same thing at home.
And they pull out the stomach and they find, instead of any human flesh or hair, they find it looks like he consumed most of a woodchuck. So that was day one of the search. Like we said, they couldn't find him. They run to the church the second day. The whole group is there. Carol and Lori have a heart-to-heart inside of the church. Also, Lori has a discussion with Shane about how he's been kind of kicking Carl to the side after she and him had their big fight in season 1, and he makes clear to her that, look, once we find Sophia, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna kind of sneak away in the night or whatever, and it's probably the best thing for all of us. And she agrees. But Andrea overhears. And this whole episode, Andrea has been getting increasingly disillusioned with the group that started after Dale saved her. It seems he took her gun and put it away, and she's upset that he won't give it back. She's upset that he forced her rather, to not let herself die in the CDC. She says it was her choice, and he had no right to take it away from her.
Well, she read him the riot act, didn't she?
Oh, she certainly did. So she's been increasingly unhappy with the group. No one else will give her a gun. They all seem to think that she's just crazy and suicidal, and so she kind of teams up with Shane and says, look, if you're leaving, I'm going to go with you because we're the two outcasts of this group. There's nothing left for us here.
I thought it went a little long. I thought the my choice thing seemed like it was repeated a number of times. I mean, I get it. At one point, that's what I was thinking. All right, I get it. Let's get to the zombies.
I mean, it didn't bother me. I mean, because I was kind of on Dale's side, but by the end I was kind of on her side, so it at least worked in terms of an argument. But at this point, they've gotten to the church. They find out the church doesn't actually have a steeple, but it's just a bell and a timer, so there's no humans there that drew them in there. But the group decides to split up. Most of them are going to go back to camp, or to the RV, to the camper on the highway, and then Rick and Shane are going to go keep looking for Sophia. And eventually Carl stays with them as well. He convinces his mom and dad to let him stay. After all, he's got one of those Gerber knives. So Rick says he needs a minute, and he goes back inside the church to have a heart-to-heart with God. And I actually, we had the first scene with him doing the monologue, and we had the second scene with him doing the monologue. I really liked the second one, probably as much as I disliked the first. What did you guys think of the two?
I did like this one much more. I didn't. I will have to probably watch that part again. It didn't bother me at all the time. I liked it, so I give it a thumbs up.
I think Andrew Lincoln, I didn't know anything about him before the show, but he's really, for me, turned out to be quite a surprise as an actor, and I think he did a really nice job in that scene.
Yeah, so basically in the scene, he asks, he's praying, he's not a religious man, but look, at this point, he'll take anything. He's saying, being a leader is hard, you have to make a lot of hard decisions, although I guess you know that, and all I need right now is a sign. I need to have some kind of sign to tell me that I am doing the right thing.
Did anybody else think of that movie The Jerk with Steve Martin when he was asking God for a sign?
Not at this point, but I thought of a different movie, in a little bit that we can get to, but no, not that. That's funny.
So after he has his heart to heart, he, Shane, and Carl go out into the woods, where they come across a young buck. Still got hair on the antlers. It was maybe 9-10 points? Anybody else count?
No, Brad's the hunter.
What did we have there, Brad?
I'm not the hunter. My dad and my brother are the hunters.
Oh.
So I did not notice.
Okay, well, we can say for sure it was a member of the deer family. So we'll go with that. And Rick, you can tell, is kind of regarding this as his sign. And Carl notices the deer, and at first, I think it was Shane was going to shoot the deer, but Rick kind of holds him off. And Carl walks up to the deer. It's kind of this very quiet, tranquil scene. And of course, Brad, John, and myself all knew what was coming, or at least what was coming in the comics. But even so, it was very tense, even in its tranquility. And then a shot rings out, shoots right through the deer. The bullet passes right through and hits Carl. Rick runs over, and we fade to black. And that was the end of the episode. What lies ahead?
What do you mean? What's coming in the comics?
We knew he was going to get shot there.
I didn't remember.
I mean, in the comics, this is not really a spoiler. In the comics, the person who shoots him thinks he's a deer, but there's no actual deer there. So as soon as a deer showed up, and based on what we'd seen in trailers for the season, I put 2 and 5 together and got 7.
Do you remember that part in the comics, John?
I don't remember Carl getting shot. I really need to. I remember right now, like the real main plot points. I need to go back and read my Walking Dead again.
Anybody else think it was weird that Shane was considering firing, stopping and doing some hunting just because it was there? I mean,
well, presumably they need food, and I mean, fresh.
Yeah, okay, not so much the hunting, but just firing a gun in the woods.
After all the talk that episode, keep it quiet. Yeah.
Did this scene make anyone else think of my cousin Vinny? All right, I'm going to play the part that I'm talking about. If it doesn't work, we'll edit it out.
What about these pants I got on? You think they're okay?
Imagine you're here. You're prancing along, you get thirsty, you spot a little brook, you put your little deer lips down to the cool, clear water. Bam! A fucking bullet rips off part of your head. Your brains are laying on the ground in little bloody pieces.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. The whole time I'm watching that deer, I'm thinking of Marissa Tomei.
That is not what I thought of, but it is the second My Cousin Vinny reference I've heard tonight, so that's kind of random.
Sweet. Brad, you have seen My Cousin Vinny? Yes?
I saw it once a very long time ago. I liked it. And I do remember that scene after you played it, but yeah, it was good.
Pretty much like being at Christmas at my house.
So that was What Lies Ahead, and What Lies Ahead is episode 2 of season 1, and that episode is going to be called Bloodletting. And episode 2, the little blurb is, Rick discovers a possible safe haven. Shane must go on a dangerous mission to get needed medical supplies. So that is what we can expect next episode.
Very good. I'd like to I think we may have breezed over a couple of things. I get the feeling that they're trying to make us feel bad for Shane at this point. There's that scene where Laurie's really ripping into him, like, again. And he's kind of saying, you remember the dialogue about him making a mistake, it's people do make mistakes, like that type of thing.
It's a little more than a mistake.
Is it that cut and dry? Did he, to me it's like, did he lie about Rick being dead, or did it seem just so hopeless to him that's what he went with?
The specific mistake they were talking about at that point was him.
Oh, in the CDC. I got you. You're right. You are correct. But I don't know. Does anybody get that? Like, Laurie is still just coming across poorly to me. And it's more Shane that we're supposed to root for. I don't know. Maybe, is that the comic bias that I'm giving it? Again, I'd like to hear,
I think so, because we have that scene of her and Rick and Carl and Sophia and Carol in the car, where they're kind of being a nice family, and she supports Rick later on in the episode when some people are doubting him.
Yeah, when they're in the woods and they're walking back, the two of them hung back, and Rick and Shane hang back, and they tell the rest to go, and Laurie basically rips Carol a new one and says, look, every time you look at Rick, you can see it in your face. You need to stop blaming him. I felt like Laurie was a little bit more likable. I've never had a huge problem with Laurie to begin with, like a lot of people, but I felt she was a little more likable in this episode than she has been, particularly because she did stick up for Rick a bit.
I think you might be right, John, that they are trying to rehabilitate Shane's character a little bit, and we certainly saw that last season where he would do something really terrible, but then he would do something really good, and you would get a reason why he did something terrible, and then he would do something else kind of jerkish. He's a very confused guy, and while they are trying to rehabilitate him, I don't think it's at the expense of Laurie. I think they're trying to have both of them ride a very fine line where you can find fault with them, or you can agree with them, but you're not going to come off like a terrible person either way.
Right. The other thing that I wanted to mention, which was cool coming out of the panel, Chandler Riggs had talked a lot about how he loved his job. Well, he's also a 12-year-old, it's a TV star, so what's not to love? But he loved the fact that he gets to play two different characters, because in the first season, Carl is like this little kid in peril type of thing, and this season he gets to grow up. And I think we saw the beginning of that with Carl asking to come along a couple of times, and he wants to help look for Sophia because she's his friend. And that's going to be cool, because there's always going to be that balance of, you got to let Carl grow up, but you still want to protect Carl. He's the kid. That's going to be a good tension, I think.
Yeah, and there's some great scenes where he's trying to get some, I guess, affirmations, the right word, from both of his father figures. He's trying, hey, look, Shane, I found these knives, and hey, Dad, or hey, Shane, look, this is the knife they gave me, and hey, I want to go with you guys. A, because she's my friend, but also because he wants to be like his dad and his dad's best friend. He wants to be one of the guys, even though he's 12, or however old the character actually is. And it's very true to how his daddy act.
All right, I'm going to make an executive decision.
Okay.
If you guys don't like this, we'll edit this part out. But I can't ignore it anymore. And I think now is the time to reveal that spoiler that we've been dancing around.
The second part?
No.
Okay. No.
I will not allow the second part.
No, I won't either, because that's important. And I realize this may seem weird after the rant that I went on earlier, calm as it was. But if you've read the comics, you know what we're talking about. This spoiler happens in. Are you guys okay with me doing this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I agree with you guys. We talked about that when I wasn't there.
If you read the first volume, you see this, what we're talking about. This happens in the last issue of volume 1, issue 6 of the comic. And if you're smart, you probably figured it out anyway. In the comic, at the end of issue 6, the character of Shane is killed. We're not going to say how he's killed. Just know that Shane has not existed in the comics since issue 6.
And we're at now, 87 or something in the comics? So it's been a while.
Right, that's correct. So, and another reason why I feel comfortable bringing this up is because Robert Kirkman himself mentioned it at the Walking Dead panel. This is kind of like, at this point, to me, this is kind of like Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. Are you kidding? So, this is what we've been dancing around. But John is right. The how is the most important part. But I think it's important now, as a viewer, to realize the gift that we as viewers have been given by having Shane still involved in the story, because it is going to add so much drama, a love triangle. Like John said, Carl, he's got two father figures now. In the comic, he just has Rick. So this is going to be a very interesting dynamic that we as the comic fans have not had the privilege and the joy of experiencing, and I am very excited about it.
Yeah, we're definitely in uncharted waters here, and you said it perfectly. I couldn't be more excited about it, Brad.
Kirkman said, I think we mentioned this, maybe just in talking to ourselves, not on the show. No, of course not, we haven't mentioned it on the show because it's the whole deal of the sport. Kirkman himself has said he wasn't sure that The Walking Dead would last past 6 issues, and if he had known that it would, then he would not have had Shane's character killed off. Shane would have remained in the story. So this is kind of like some insight, I guess, as to what he might have done with him in the comic. So I actually feel good about being able to talk about that now.
The only other, before we kind of go around and give ratings, maybe the only other thing I've written down that I just wanted to mention was when they find the tent, and there is the dead, bloated camper, camper, I guess we'll call him. He has a big button, a circular button on his shirt, and I paused it a couple of times, and it was never really in focus. I was able to piece together with a couple of pauses that it said, I'm not going to get it exactly now, but it's no excuse for domestic violence is what it said. So there were a couple people on Twitter asking, and so I paused and got that out there, and a lot of people got a laugh at it. So well placed little message there on the zombie button.
I also like that Dale had in the RV a wooden plaque that said, "How about a nice glass of shut the hell up?"
Yeah,
that's what I was going to mention earlier when I was trying to think of something. Yeah, I thought that was really awesome.
The other little, not an Easter egg, I don't know what you call it, product placement is what you call it. Apparently Shane's new ride is like a Hyundai or something, and then the first commercial break right after that was for Hyundai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Joe Jans.
The Hyundai thing I didn't even notice. The Gerber thing I noticed, but it didn't bother me. I mean, this seems like if you're going to do product placement, this seems like the right way to do it. They didn't. This is the type of thing you would be looking for knives. And what company makes knives? Gerber. And they didn't. I don't even think they said the name Gerber. Just had the logo on it.
Yeah, I don't notice either one of those, Gerber or why are you saying Hyundai?
Yeah, Hyundai. Or Hyundai, but either Hyundai.
I don't know. I talk funny.
That is the truth.
I never noticed either one of those. I did like I forget what cell phone company it was, but the zombie using the cell phone.
Verizon?
Yes, Verizon.
John, we already have Bill. You don't have
Sprite?
Yeah, I was about to say, was it Sprite or was it AT-AT?
So what do we think in terms of Busters here?
My first reaction after watching it right away was 4.5. I think I'm going to give it 3.75 out of 5 Busters.
Yeah, I'm good with 4. I hope there's some better episodes in the season, but I think this is a good. I think this will be like a good barometer episode, like ones that are worse than this and ones that are better than this.
I'm going to go to solid 4.25. I think this might be the best episode since the pilot. I think it was definitely on par with that episode.
The only reason I knocked it down 0.25 was the opening monologue. Rick signing off. That deserves a knock for that, but the rest was just. I literally, before this episode started, I literally was fidgeting. I could not sit still. I couldn't sit down for more than 10 seconds before I was up again, walking back into the kitchen to make sure my glass was full of water and all this stuff. And I was like, what is my problem? It's just a television show.
There's some other ratings that are kind of important. You think we should get to them?
Yeah, why don't you do that, and then we'll do the tweet ratings for people.
Well, we know that last season, The Walking Dead had spectacular ratings for AMC, really good ratings for cable. They one episode beat every single thing on NBC that week, except for The Office and football. So, I mean, that tells you how it was doing pretty well. That's why I got picked up for second season so quickly. And ratings grew over the season for the most part. Well, we got our ratings in for the season 2 premiere, and they played the episode twice. So the first time, there was 7.3 million total viewers, and if you factor in the encore, it was 11 million total. It's way more than last season's premiere. 4.8 million of those were in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is the one that advertisers are looking for. This was a huge rating for that. The first season premiere was 5.3 million. And like I said, this one was 7.3. So that was a healthy growth. This actually shattered a previous record for basic cable that's been around since 2002. That was the premiere of USA's Dead Zone, and I believe that the specific record was for that 18 to 49 demographic. So all around, by all reports, both rating-wise, both reviews I've read from professional reviewers, this was a massive success for AMC, for Walking Dead, for everybody involved. So my hats off to them.
Very nice.
Hopefully they'll.
Officially now season 3.
Well, they have. I mean, they're already running a contest.
Well, yeah, but if you read the fine print, at least last year it said if there is a season 2.
Oh, okay.
Now, last year, if I remember correctly, it actually gained viewers each episode,
I
correct?
want to say it gained in the second and third weeks. The fourth and fifth were down between the second and third, but still very healthy. And the fifth might have been the strongest, or might have been like the second strongest. But good all the way around.
Not unlike the Walking Dead trade comic itself, the sales, as it went along, the sales went up every month. And the same with the trade paperbacks, I believe the sales of those just keep growing and growing.
So I think we're going to head to Twitter now and see what some of our followers think. It's a little segment we like to call the Tweeting Dead, and sometimes I like to play this. Okay, so that's our Tweeting Dead sound effect as of now. I'd like to announce a contest right now. I will give you the Rick television show action figure, which does not hit the shelves until when, Jordan? I think December.
Sounds about right.
So you will get the Rick Grimes Walking Dead, the television show version, not the comic book version, action figure that I was able to pick up at New York Comic Con, where they debuted the figures way before anybody else would be able to get them. If you can make a better Tweeting Dead sound effect than this.
So literally all they have to do is like blow a raspberry into a microphone.
That might win. So if you send an MP3 file to comments at walkingdeadtv.com, come up with a better sound effect to play when we go to the Tweeting Dead segment. It could be a little song, a jingle, a zombie sound, anything you like. And we will take the best one. It will become our new sound effect, and you will get the Rick Grimes action figure, which isn't in stores until around Christmas time, I believe.
And make sure you don't send in anything that you don't own the copyright to.
I want to thank John for picking up that case of figures and sending me the, what do they call it? We call it Buster, but what is it labeled on the box?
Zombie walker?
Yeah, he's a zombie walker, and the most awesome thing about it is that he's a wind-up walker. He actually walks.
I can't wait to crack that open and make that sucker walk.
When I read the front that it was a wind-up, you almost weren't getting it anymore.
Well, I know you sent me a text and said, "Oh, I can't. I think I might keep it because it walks." And I'm like, "No, dude, you promised. You're a man of your word. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and I appreciate that."
Yes, it's true. All right, let's get to some tweets. We have some review. The tweeting was awesome. It was great. It was quiet on Twitter, and then as soon as the commercials hit, my phone just started lighting up with all the people sending tweets about what had happened before the commercial break, which was really cool. Tiny Rubber Robot gives it 4 out of 5. Love the end. Knew it was coming, and I still jumped. So that kind of alludes to what we were saying. Not sure about how they handled Andrea, and Daryl is becoming my favorite. I think we're going to be hearing a lot of that. Rooker fan said it rocked. 10-10-10 Bethany said great way to start season 2. Good character development, storyline, and cool blooded guts. Jennifer High Five. Walking Dead was awesome. Can't wait till next week. Hope Carl Grimes is okay. So do we. Harley Big Daddy said the premiere was great. Never disappoints. Daryl is pretty handy with the steel when it comes to gutting zombies.
It's great to hear some of these names again. I haven't heard some of these people's Twitter handles since last season.
Yeah.
Welcome back, fans. We love you guys.
For sure. Peter Parker 1810 says, I concur. I'm okay with veering from the book and the ending was good, but what happened in the book was more brutal. I'm not sure. Let's edit that one because I don't know what he's referring to exactly, and we probably can't talk about it anyway. Sherry is Strawberry says, loved every minute of it. I'm so addicted. Can't wait for more. Our buddy and ex-Legion of Deuter, Adam Reed, said 4, almost 5 busters for me. Was a really good season premiere in my mind. Soda Joe Jans, who we're going to hear from again in a minute, said, good solid show. I'm glad there's still plenty of tension in the group. Had a good beat and was easy to ramble to. I don't know what that means.
Like, zombies ramble or shamble when they walk.
Awesome. Ducky is Lost says 4.25 busters. Glad I wasn't spoiled on the ending because it was powerful. 4 out of 5 from Joker Ha 13. It goes on and on. Our buddy Aaron from the Out Now podcast, 4 out of 5. Denver Zombies absolutely loved it. One of the best episodes. So I'm going to, listen, mostly positive, right? Nobody has come in under 4 out of 5. Not too much negative talk. Nobody really seemed to bash the opening monologue except Frank and us, which is a good thing. So, overall, I think the people have spoken. I'm gonna just go ahead and give like a tweet of the week. The best tweet I got during this was from Joe Jans, who is Soda, Soduh, who's a real funny guy. And everybody's tweeting Walking Dead, and all of a sudden he comes out and says, Bears 26, Vikings 3, halftime, in case you didn't feel like turning the channel. Which was kind of exactly what I was thinking at that point. Like, I wonder what's going on in the game. So that was pretty cool. So thanks to him for that. And thanks to everybody for participating. It's a lot of fun watching the show that way. I try to keep my mouth shut during the show, but the commercial breaks and everything, everybody's chiming in. We got tweets from Irony Singleton, Michael Rooker, Viviana Chavez, all stars and people who appear on the show, which is really cool. So that's WDTV Podcast. That is our Twitter name. So please follow and join the fun if you can.
I totally just shut my phone. I put it on. I took it off vibrate. I put it on silent, so I wouldn't even hear that stuff. I was just zoned into the tube for an hour and a half.
I also want to thank Jen Deeve, who's another great one of our friends from season 1, Courtney, who says, I honestly don't think I'll be checking out The Talking Dead, but I'm definitely looking forward to hearing from you guys. So Brad, there's one person who won't be leaving us to watch The Talking Dead after. And I'm going to just go out and say that I'm not going to watch The Talking Dead because I'm afraid that they're going to say something that I was thinking, and then I'm going to get accused of copying what they're doing on that show. So I'm just not going to watch it, even though I do like that guy.
I like the guy. He's funny and stuff, but we already talked about it. I don't need to listen to somebody else talk about it.
I watched the online segment today because it's online only, but it doesn't look like they put up the regular episode anywhere on AMCTV.com. So unless or until they do, I won't be checking it out. But because unfortunately I don't have AMC at the moment, so I'm doing this through iTunes. I'm going to see the episode till Monday, so I have to avoid the internet starting at Sunday at 9 o'clock at night. It sucks.
So Jim was not able to join us tonight either, and Jim did leave a voicemail with his thoughts on the show. So let's see what Jim has to say, shall we?
Hey everybody, it's Jim. I'm not going to be here. I'm still trying to from New York Comic Con, so I won't be able to be on the show with the rest of the guys tonight. But I do want to chime in real quick with some of my thoughts on last night's premiere episode. First of all, I did really enjoy it. I give it about 3.5 out of 5 busters. Really good tension-filled moments there. That moment in the trailer with Angela and under the cars, the whole subplot of the lost little girl. I really thought it fit well with the rest of the episode. It's definitely any more lost Darabont really has not affected the tone of the show at all. And I thought all the performances were solid. It was solid. I was really good all the way throughout. I'm interested in the way they're going to play out the Shane and Laurie thing here. Seeing as they're not playing out the way it happened in the book. And I enjoyed it all overall. I can't wait to discuss the episode with you guys when we have a chance to do so. So have a good show, gentlemen. And I'm almost back to Pittsburgh, New York Comic Con. Walking Dead 10 all the conviviality we had out there. Brad, we missed you. And yes, we stuck for having such a great time. So have a good show, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Jim. So it sounds like he pretty much falls in line, right? 3.75. So we're all in the same area. Did he say 3.5? I'm not sure if I memory loss, but right around the same area.
Yeah, I certainly missed being out there and getting to meet you guys in person.
We had some fun, and if they're going to keep that October date, and that's going to be when The Walking Dead premieres every year. So it's going to be heavy Walking Dead at New York Comic Con, I think, for a good long while. So we're going to have to set up something. All right, Brad, we have a couple of emails, if you will.
Okay, let me pull those up here. One of them kind of goes back to the spoiler thing. Gonna have to dance around it a little bit. And this is the guy who posted on our Facebook page. He wanted to post a spoiler, but he didn't want to put it there. I said send it in to email. So here it is. I'll do my best to edit it. So here we go. This is from Ragda Juma. Hey guys, so I have a really silly and possibly impossible theory on Sophia's disappearance. I just can't get the idea of the blank from the comics out of my head. I mean, Sophia's tracks were headed in the right direction until it veered off for some reason, and there weren't tracks around her, so a walker wasn't to blame. But in the books, the blank waited, it blanked in the woods. They tried to blank people off, to blank the group. What if they were able to blank her toward the blank somehow? Am I aware that the blank aren't doing the blank for a very blank blank? But I'd love if they were introduced to blank blank. I also hope Sophia isn't the moral of season 2 and that we find her soon. And just wanted to point out that in the comic, if I'm not mistaken, the reason Glenn and his blank blank, her name isn't blank blank, shaved their blank is just for a change after so much blank.
Kids, please be careful when shaving your blank.
Yes, I can't even read that.
Bad razor burn.
I can't even read that last sentence. He says, "Thanks, I'm a huge fan of the podcast. You guys got me into comic books." Ragda, thank you, Ragda. We like hearing that. You've started reading comic books now. That's pretty awesome.
Speaking of Shane's shaved head, we saw in the scenes coming up on the season of The Walking Dead thing at the end of the episode. There was definitely shots of Shane with a shaved head wearing a baseball cap. So there must be a story reason that it does not signal his demise.
There was also a promo for the Spike Scream Awards or whatever, where Rick and Shane were in that promo and Shane's head was shaved. It was a pretty dumb promo, if you ask me. It's
Pretty what promo?
stupid, dumb.
Okay, I heard
A dangerous show deserves a dangerous award show or something like that. It was really kind of hokey.
How about I jump in with a voicemail and you can prepare the next email?
Hey guys, it's Joe Jan.
Soda.
Decent effort, I'd say, for season 2, episode 1. I like the deer thing at the end. I'm assuming we've all seen this and that we can go into spoilers. As I tweeted yesterday, I'm really hoping that very soon there'll be a nice Shane moment. But I was happy to see that the 24-inch Shane zipper has finally disappeared. Somebody must have tweeted extra loud and he took the hint and finally lowered his pants. So that was it. I'm very anxious to see what happens next. I can't wait to see the farm. So have a good evening, and I will chat with you guys later. Bye.
I think, thanks, Joe. I think the important thing that comes out of that voicemail is that the Shane pants jokes are done, dudes.
Yeah, I
mean,
didn't notice.
No, they visibly lowered his pants.
You sent me a text and said, "Did you notice?" And I was like, "No, I didn't really." It's funny. Hey,
You know what that tells us? Incessant pitching works.
We have one more email, don't we, Brad?
yes, this is from Aaron Newworth, our buddy Aaron of the Out Now with Aaron and Abe podcast.
Which you can find at hhwlb.com.
Hey guys, have some thoughts that are mainly theories and then crazier theories. In the theories section of the email, it says, "We'll see Merle by the end of this season. We'll see Morgan before the end of this season. Jenner's message will be revealed." The one he whispered to Rick.
The one that Rick almost said this episode and then just
Yeah.
forgot about it.
Oh, that was kind of clunky, too.
That was
I forgot
another
about that.
one. My mouth sucked.
And Aaron, in parentheses, he says, Jenner's message was that Lori's pregnant, but we don't know, obviously. Continuing on with theories, Dale and Andrea will hook up. And another theory is that Shane will die by the end of this season, which is interesting that he would say that after what we talked about earlier with Shane in the comics and whatnot. In the fantasy theories section of the email, Sophia becomes the governor. I cannot freaking wait for the governor to be in this dadgum TV show, but obviously we're not going to see him in season 2. Daryl and T-Dog become a couple. Come on, Aaron. You really think that's going to happen? Andrea Dale. Yeah, really. Andrea Dale and Shane love triangle.
I actually kind of thought that too at one point.
Yeah, there was.
There was a Shane Andrea thing going on for a second there when he was. Well, there was a couple actually, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
there was. Yeah,
Like
one in
the
the
Mickey and Mallory of Walking Dead.
one in the camper was like, "I'll show you how to put that gun together, take it apart, put it back together real quick." Like, and another theory: Glenn steals Daryl's motorcycle for joyriding. I don't think that's a crazy theory. I think it's very likely. And this is my favorite. Carol reveals herself as a time traveler. She is actually Sophia from the future, warning everyone about the zombies' truth threat. They want our gold. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but
He knows a lot of strange movie references and stuff. That crazy Aaron.
kidding aside, he says, "I really enjoyed the first episode of the season. I thought the opening, all before the first commercial, was absolutely fantastic, minus the narration at the beginning. Not terrible, but the accent felt off." There's another comment about the accent, John. The rest of the episode was solid as well, but it kind of felt draggy and repetitive up until they all got to the church. I wonder if it felt repetitive because we had been able to see those trailers over and over and over, and a lot of those trailer shots were from the beginning. It seemed more like it was filling time rather than needing to be an extended first episode. Still, a lot of great kill and gore scenes, some nice character work, Dale and Andrea in particular, and a great cliffhanger. Kill of the episode: the double D save. Dale and Daryl both help out at exactly the right time. What's he referring to there? What did I miss?
The dual screwdriver kills.
Yes. Yeah. The double Ds. We love the double Ds, huh?
What's not to love? I have something to say about Daryl that I kind of forgot. I thought it was hysterical when he called Glenn short round,
Yes.
and I thought it was hysterical when he called Jesus Christ JC.
JC. But I almost called that. I'm sitting there thinking, if Daryl doesn't look at him and say, "What's up, JC?" or something like that, I'm gonna have a cow. And sure enough, that was awesome.
So is he the Sawyer of the Walking Dead now? Is he gonna call Glenn something
In
every
more
show?
ways than one. I mean, he really is.
Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of made me leery of it, that they're just gonna bite off that so much. But I thought it worked well. So far, it's worked well both times. So
As long as they don't bite off the giant glowy cave, we'll be fine.
Thank you, fellas, for the emails, and keep them coming in, guys. We love hearing those. We love the voicemails.
yeah, if we'll let's do those numbers now. The voicemail is 516-468-7912. Please, we'd love more calls even than we had for today. That would be great. Comments at walkingdeadtv.com for the emails. We also love to read new iTunes reviews, which I'm sad to say we haven't gotten a new one in a little bit, but maybe with the new season starting up, some more of you will check us out on iTunes and leave a review. And if you know our show from the past, we're not begging for 5-star ones. We'll read all of them, even ones that are more like Brad hate mail. We'll read them. So yeah, we love iTunes reviews. It helps us get out on the front pages and recognize and stuff. So we appreciate it. And I think anything else? Did we leave anything out? This is so much information in a short period of time. Any scenes, anything that we want to touch on? I think I'm good. All right, Jordan, then do your thing.
All right. Well, before we get to the end here, one last thing. Don't forget to check out. I know we always talk about the Facebook groups and emails and all that stuff. Don't forget forumforgeeks.com. On forumforgeeks.com, there's John and my show and Russ and Jim show, Legion of Dudes. There's Brad's show, Half Hour Wasted, which is awesome. They just put out a new random audio file this week. But there's also a bunch of other shows that we're friends with and a lot of other great podcasts, including the Walking Dead Podcast Network. That's us, of course. That's Behind the Cutting Edge, which you can find at behindthecuttingedge.com. I've been on the show a few times. They're real fun guys. There's the Walking Dead Cast, which you can find at walkingdeadcast.com. And then there's the Talking Dead Podcast, which you can find at talkingdeadpodcast.com. No relation to the TV after show. I actually met up with Chris from the Talking Dead Cast at Comic-Con. We tried to meet up several times, but like you pointed out earlier in the show, the reception was so terrible that we kept missing each other. But Sunday we met up. He actually gave me a shirt and a bottle opener that's a USB drive. We got to hang out for like an hour and walk around the con, look at some of the different stuff in Artist Alley and stuff. He was a real nice guy. Check out his shows. Check out all the shows. They're all good friends of ours, and we enjoy each other's work. But other than forumforgeeks.com, which even if you're not interested in all those shows, you should definitely check out because there's a ton of good stuff there. Leave us a voicemail, like John said, at 516-468-7912. Send us an email, comments@walkingdeadtv.com. Of course, like I said, Half Hour Wasted from Brad, Legion Dudes from us, Outmouth Aaron and Nate. Aaron Newer, who left us that email before. All those can be found at hhwlod.com. Of course, there's Facebook groups for Legion of Dudes, Half Hour Wasted, Walking Dead TV, Media Minutes, and Outmouth Aaron and Nate. You can find all of them on there. Just search for them. And on Twitter, follow us at WDTV Podcast and at HHWLOD_network.
And just before you finish up, I just want to also remind everybody the YouTube channel, Walking Dead TV podcast on YouTube. Keep an eye out. We're going to have great video from New York Comic Con coming up, and that's Walking Dead and the Avengers panels. We'll throw them both up on there, and they'll be up on the website, but you can get them on YouTube. And thanks to Brad for setting up our little YouTube deal. And we have great pictures and video. Like I said, Russ is still en route getting home, but when he gets back, we're going to have all these videos and pictures up on the site, and it's going to be really cool, so check it out.
Can't wait to see that video from the second row.
I told Lori Holden that she cleaned up nicely.
She did.
She is a cutie.